Rodgers was a small-town boy from Newell, Iowa. He lived a simple life, with dreams of one day making it big. He was a natural performer. From an early age, Rodgers excelled at dancing and singing. At the age of 11, Rodgers moved to Chicago with his family. He immediately began busking in the local streets for money. Rodgers joined a popular blues band in his late teens. Together they toured around the Midwest, performing to packed houses. It wasn't long before Rodgers began to attract national attention. He was soon signed to major record label, Columbia Records. His first solo album, Just for Fun, was a hit. Rodgers' star power began to rise. Top record producers began vying for Rodgers' attention. He was asked to perform in Europe and Japan, and he had a sold-out tour in the US. Rodgers soon found himself in demand all around the world. He invested in numerous projects, including his own Broadway show. Rodgers continued to write and produce hit songs, and in 1923 he became a household name after his song, Toot, Toot, Tootsie topped the charts. Rodgers released his most successful album in 1927, The Jazz Singer. It was his most popular album to date. Throughout the late 20s and early 30s, Rodgers continued to write and perform, and even ventured into films. However, in 1934 disaster struck when Rodgers was diagnosed with throat cancer. He was forced to put his career on hold. Rodgers had surgery to remove the cancer, and though he recovered, his voice was permanently damaged. Despite his condition, Rodgers continued to perform live. He held benefit concerts to pay for his medical bills. By the early 1940s, Rodgers' career had started to decline. He was no longer the megastar he had been in the 20s. Rodgers was later inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1970. Rodgers received recognition from the federal government for his feat. In 1984, Rodgers was honored with a United Postal stamp, which celebrated his life and career. A museum dedicated to the life and career of Rodgers was opened in his hometown of Newell in the 1980s. Rodgers also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. Despite all his awards and accolades, Rodgers was never able to fully recover from his throat cancer. Rodgers had to constantly refrain from speaking, as it caused him immense pain. Throughout the late 40s and 50s, Rodgers continued to make music and collaborate with other renowned artists. In 1954, Rodney released his last work, the documentary, Rodgers Remembered. The documentary was initially meant to be a feature film, but it was never completed.